Welcome everyone. Am I audible to all? Yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. And let's start the session. Let me share my screen with you. Yesterday we have studied the inferential analysis with R, and we have performed little bit factor analysis. And let me share my screen with you first. Then we start. Yesterday we have performed one test. Okay, that was the fixed acidity and uh, population parameter mean, and this was on the 95% confidence level or the 5% level of significance. Now the same test, if you want to perform on the confidence level 99% and our level of significance 1%, then we have to write one attribute confidence dot level equal to 0.99. Okay. Then we are talking about the one tail. So you could write in this way. This is at the 95% is also the 95%. Now we talk about the pair 2 sample t test. So here I am taking one data set from the SAS file. And for that reading that file, I need a library which is SAS 7 bidet. I have to import this library first. Then I read that data, because this data is in my here already in this project. The data name is HSB. So I show you that data must be here, HSB. No, that data is not here in this folder. HSB is not here. If the data is not in the same folder, then you use this read.sys7b date file choose. Instead of this, you write the file choose and you run it. And I remove this all first. So I get a pop-up window and I will see where that data is. So I just search that data. I think that is the data folder. So data set. That is this data set I am taking. Again, I do it. Why it is not taking? No, it has been open now. You know that see over here in the global environment, there are 200 observations and 11 variables. We could view it. I remove other things. So would be better for you. And I'll just remove this all. So I will show you this first. So there is a ID and the gender female. Female is 1 and the male is 0. Race is 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 races are there. And the socioeconomic status, school type, program, read, write, math, science, and social science. So these are the data. These are the marks basically obtained in the social and various subjects, various streams. And this the program 1, 2, 3, 3 programs are there. The school type is also there. We could see the summary of this first. So we see the glimpse first. So glimpse, you see we are having all the numeric. And if I see the names, so you know that I see the summary of this. I would like to see the summary. So I write the summary. This is the summary I have, because everything is numeric. Some may be this is a binary. This is also race is a 4 category we have. SES also we have 3 categories. So this may convert in a factor later on if we required. School type is also a category. Program is also a categorical. Okay. Only these variables are pure numeric. Okay. So this may be discrete, ordinal way, and this also the ordinal way discrete. And school type is also discrete one. And the program, we could not say it is discrete. It is general category. Now we see there is no significant difference in writing and reading skills of the student. This is our null hypothesis. And this we want to check, or this is a pure t-test dependent. We could say that because the students whose reading we are talking about, also the writing of that is student we are comparing. You know, the same student reading and writing we are comparing. So I run it. So it is the pure t-test, and data is these two variables we have taken is the t value, is the degree of freedom n minus 1, and the p value is 0.3868, which is greater than 0.05. So our null hypothesis has been accepted. It means there is no significant difference between reading and writing of the students. The students whose writing is good, reading is also good. It shows that both are, most of the students have the same thing. So alternative hypothesis, if you see two difference in mean is not equal to 0, 95% confidence interval is given, and mean of difference is given. The mean of difference, the mean of read and the mean of write, that difference they have given 0.545. That is very small difference. So therefore we say that there is no significant difference. Negative form. No, null hypothesis. It is basically we write the not significant. Okay. Null, not nil, null. NULL, null hypothesis. Okay. Now we see unpaired two sample t-test. It was the paired t-test. So unpaired t-test, we take a data set of wine quality. We have taken previously, last day also, the previous day, sorry, yesterday. So I again read it. And everybody knows that this data, okay, this is somewhere else. So what I have to, otherwise I have to change my directory. So I just change my directory. I have various options, and I could use the file choose also. but I have changed this directory. Different options we have. And I will show you the levels of the wine quality. So you see, these are the labels it is saying me, because it is not in factor. Uh, so we see the unique. So these are the categories or the labels or the unique values. It is not a factor. So we say it is the unique 6, 5, 7, 8, 4, 3, 9. So we have the different levels of wine. It starts with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So these are the wine quality level. Alcohol percentage, we have an objective. Alcohol percentage significantly difference between wine quality 3 and 9. So we said one null hypothesis. There is no significant difference in alcohol percent between wine quality 3 and wine quality 9. And we know that the wine quality 3 and 9 is still in only one column. You will see this is a one column where all qualities are given. So we have to separate this first. Okay. So I will show you the wine quality table first. So you will see there is a wine quality 3, there is only 20 drums we have. 4 we have 163 observations. 5 we have 1457. 6 we have 2198. 7 we have 880. 8 we have 175. And 9 we have only 5 drums. Does that make sense to everyone? So we have to compare between 3 and 9. 3 and 9 wine quality, the alcohol percentage we have to compare whether the alcohol percentages are same or different. So first we allocate this. So I am making one new independent variable which would not be included in the data frame because the observation would be only 20. And in our data frame, we have the observation 4898. So it will not adjust over there. So we will make it separate independent vector with wine dollar alcohol I am taking. And here what alcohol I am taking, wine quality 3 only. Okay, so that I am taking. So I will take the 20 observation. If I show you, you run it, 20 observation I will get for the alcohol. These are the alcohol percent. And for 9 I will do the same thing, and I will show you there would be a 5 observations only of the alcohol percent. These are the alcohol percent in the 9 quality. And length we know that 20 and 9, 20 and 5. So I will show you the length in spite of that. So these are we. Here it is an unpaired t-test. Unpaired t-test if you are conducting, and if you conduct the unpaired t-test like this, and you don't write this variance are equal true, then see what happens. I just run it. You see what is wrong here in this output. Yes. What is wrong here?
It is not a independent sample t-test, sir.
But in the values, can you judge what is the wrong thing here? The first line, the T, DF, and the P value, what is wrong here? What should not be there? What is the degree of freedom? How we calculate it?
Yeah.
It should be some integer,
Yes, sir. N minus 1.
natural, n minus 1 mostly. Or in the two sample paired t-test, it should be n1 plus n2 minus 2, because n1 minus 1 plus n2 minus 1.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, because we have a different sample size.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So it is 7.24. So it is the wrong thing here.
Yes, sir. It is
Why
not
it
integer.
is? Why it is so? Because we have to see whether the variance is equal or not. So first we perform a variance test. Okay. in the both quality, wine quality 9 and 3. So we get here F test to compare two variances. So it means there is no significant difference in the variances. This is our null hypothesis for this. So there is no significant difference. So I will tell you with this true ratio of variance, true ratio of variance. So you could better understand what should be the null hypothesis. So I think that variance for we have 3 and variance for 9. I am writing in this way. Got it?
Yes, sir.
This ratio is not equal to 1. Does that mean this? True ratio of variance is not equal to 1. So this ratio
Yes,
is
sir.
not equal to 1. What, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So V3 is not equal to
V9.
V9. Oh, this is our alternate hypothesis, HA. Okay. So what would be the H0?
Variance are
V3
not
is
equal.
equal to V9. This would be the H0. There is no significant difference in the variance. Matlab they are equal.
Yes, sir.
Variance are equal. This is our null hypothesis. There is no significant difference in the variance. So there is no significant difference in the variance. It has been accepted. Got it? P value is greater than 0.05.
Yes, sir.
So the variance is equal. So we are getting that I have. So we are getting this degree of freedom because the variance is equal. Got it? So what we do, we have to add one more attribute, variance dot equal to true. Okay. I just explain you that. We do that and then you could better understand. So first we have to perform the variance test, which is Vachikari F test. Okay. So I just perform that. This variance dot equal to true. Variance is equal. Got it? Variance is what? Square of standard deviation. And then I perform the t-test. Now you see the degree of freedom. (23).
Yes, sir.
Because we know that N1 in the 3 sample,
That is 20.
20, and N2 5.
5.
So it is 25. So what I have
Minus
telling N1
N
plus N2 minus 2.
2.
So it is 25 minus 2.
23.
What should be? 23.
23.
So here we could verify whether the test is correct or not. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
In
whenever
most case, degree of freedom is n minus 1. No, sir?
in the single sample or the pair t-test,
Yes, sir.
pair t-test it is n minus 1. Okay. But in unpaired t-test, okay, this is the unpaired t-test because the both the observations are different. Because there is 20 observations, there is 5 observations. So they are different. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So here we have N1 plus N2 minus 2. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So here we are getting the value less than 0.05.
Yes, sir. Less than 25%.
Yeah, so there is significant difference in the percentage of alcohol in wine quality 3 and wine quality 9. Got it?
Yes, sir. It reject null hypothesis. No, sir.
Yes, what?
It reject null hypothesis. P
Not,
value less than 0.5.
yes. So our null hypothesis has been rejected.
Rejected.
And alternate hypothesis is accepted. So
Okay.
null hypothesis what if I say you, I explain you this also. This is the alternate hypothesis. True mean difference in mean is not equal to 0. So mean of 3 and mean of 9 is not equal.
Nine.
We could say no, the difference is not equal to 0. So we could write in this way. Just a moment. M3 minus M9 is not equal to 0. Does that mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what we do, M3 is not equal to M9. We transfer this to other side. What
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes,
It
sir.
will change its sign if it. So this is our alternate hypothesis. So our null hypothesis what would be?
M3
is equal to M9. The
M9.
mean of wine quality 3 and the mean of wine quality 9 of alcohol. There is no significant difference in the mean in the alcohol percentage of the wine quality 3 and the wine quality 9.
9.
Okay. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this is our null hypothesis. So same I have written. If you see here, I just show you that. Where is that? Okay. I just clear it. So what I have written, there is no significant difference. There is no significant difference in alcohol percent between wine quality 3 and wine quality 9. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it? So this is the way to perform this t-test. Okay. Unpaired t-test. Now we see the ANOVA. ANOVA, we have one numeric variable and the one categorical variable. Now we want to see we could set a null hypothesis here. I have not written.
No significant difference between. Percent of alcohol to the quality of alcohol.
The various quality of
Alcohol.
quality of wine. What is?
Yes, sir.
This is our null hypothesis. If there is no significant difference in percentage of alcohol in various quality of wine. What it? So we are comparing all the quality together. Quality 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What it?
Yes, sir.
So why we use the ANOVA for the multiple. Okay. And with respect to alcohol, we are comparing all the quality. Okay. So the function is AOV for ANOVA, analysis of variance. And alcohol we have to write first, which is the numeric variable. And tilde, we have to use the categorical variable, or we have to convert that in factor. Okay. As I explained when I explaining the data. So it should be treated as factor. Okay. Basically it is in the data set, it is a numeric.
Yes.
But we have to treat it as a factor. So then it could compare it. Okay. So wine quality, data is wine quality, and I run it. If I show you this, so this is our fit. It will give the sum of squares of factor, residuals, degree of freedom, residual error. It is not giving us the p-value at that all.
We have to search in.
We have to run the summary for this.
Yeah.
We save it in some name. Okay. Here we have not saved it. We have just seen the output. So here if we have to see the output, we have given one object name, so we have run it and we have seen the output. But if we see the summary, so you see we are getting the summary now. It is the factor quality degree of freedom is 6. So we have the 7 quality. We have 7 quality in the wine. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 qualities of wine. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
n minus 1. 7 minus 1 is the 6 degree of freedom in the quality. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Then sum of square and
R
the
square.
then the mean of square. So it will divide by this 1631 divided by 6. You will get it. Okay. 271.76 you get 1631 divided by 6. 1631 divided by 6. What it?
27.271.76.
Okay, that is somewhere maybe the decimal places due to it we are getting up and down. Okay, and here we have the data is 4898. Okay, and this is degree of freedom of residual is 4891. So it is n minus k. K is the category. So we have the 7 category in the wine quality, and n is the total number of observations. So n minus k, or this is k minus 1. K is the 7 category. 7 minus 1, 6. What it?
Yes,
And
sir.
here the 4898 minus 7.
7.
So
4891.
4897. What it? 91, sorry.
91.
Okay. 4891. What it? So our this test is okay. We verified it. And the sum of square and the sum of square of mean, and then we have divided it, got this thing. And then it is the F value.
Yes, sir.
We divide this by this. We get it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we have got it. And then we got the p value, which is negligible. Okay, so it says there is no it says that there is significant difference in the various quality of wine. Got it? P value is less than 0.05. Our null hypothesis is rejected and the alternate hypothesis is accepted. Means there is significant difference, because null hypothesis was there is no significant difference in the percentage of alcohol in the various quality of wine. So this has been rejected. So there is significant difference in the percentage of alcohol in the various quality of wine. Does it make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir. We can also see F table, no, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
F
sir.
table. F table we could see, but one more thing what I prefer, I don't prefer the ANOVA. Okay. I don't like ANOVA. Because
Why, sir?
why I say you that we have a different quality peers. Okay. We compare it like this way. We have a 3 quality, 4 quality, 5 quality, 6 quality, 7, 8, and 9. And here also we see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in 3 and 4, if there is significant difference, what it?
Yes, sir.
I am putting the right for the significant difference. Okay. And across for not significant difference. And this not significant difference. The 4 and 4 will not be compared itself,
Yes, sir.
by itself. And there is significant difference. There is no significant difference. Then I'm getting the significant difference. So if somewhere if I get significant difference only in one group, 3 or 4 or 5 or 4, whatever, if I get everywhere significant difference, then it will say there is significant difference. Understand?
Yes, sir.
We have the various group. Through the permutation combination, you could see how many group would be there. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in these groups, if there is significant difference only in the one group only, so the result
Yes, sir.
we will get that there is significant difference. Got it? So other group doesn't have, don't have that significant difference, but one group had. So it is responding that there is significant difference. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So it is not given us the clear picture. Okay. Are you agree with this?
Yes,
It is
sir. Yes,
not,
sir.
it is not giving us the clear picture. So we use the pairwise t-test. And here our works increase little bit. Because the
It's significant for some group, but not for other group, no, sir.
yes, yeah. It say the accumulative, there is significant difference. If only one no, there is no that Duncan test package available, Nishita, in our at present. It is a test. Now they are using that Duncan. This is a test for the rank test. The Duncan rank test. It is called the. Basically, it is called the Duncan multi something like test. We say it. Okay. We could perform this in Excel or somewhere else, but here we don't have any package. Okay. So I will, do you have any idea about the Duncan test? Have you performed this multivariate range test? Multivariate range or rank test?
It's a range test.
Like, it is multivariate rank or range?
Range.
Range. I just
Yes,
see.
sir.
I am little bit confused. That is a rank ISO. Multiple range test. Correct, correct. And range test. Okay. This video I will give you the link. Okay. Nishita.
Okay, sir.
I have produced this video on 25 of August 2014. Okay. For the Duncan test. Okay. And
Okay, sir.
so I will give you the link, but it is not on the R. It is on the Excel or the method I have given the everything about the Duncan test. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So it was very good. I have got the in the one also I have the two videos. One this Duncan test. I just show you. So there is 38,000 views here and the something 15,000 over there. So I just share the link for these to you.
Sir, send this for us also.
I am sending it for all, for everyone.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
This is the link for that Duncan test. Okay.
Okay, sir.
When I did it, there were no book about it in the books in the Duncan test in the PG books of various universities. Okay, and there was a huge demand about it, the Duncan test. It was my first video on the Duncan test worldwide. There were no video regarding the Duncan test prior to that video. Okay. So my first video this on the Duncan test, there was only my video on the YouTube.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So you could see what does it and where, because I have not used this test later on. Okay. So we come again to our meeting where we were. Okay. So I use the pairwise t-test. Okay. I feel this is good. And we use some Bonferrero method for the probability adjustment.
We can use this instead of ANOVA.
Instead of ANOVA. It, you see, there is a 3 and 4, there is a p values 1. These are
Yes,
the
sir.
p values. So there is significant difference. There is no significant difference in the wine quality 3 and 4 with respect to alcohol percentage. Okay. And
Yes,
3
sir.
or 4, there is no significant difference. 3 or 5, there is no significant difference. 3 and 6, no significant difference. But 3 and 7, there is significant difference. It is less than 0.0005. Correct? And this is 3 and 8, there is significant difference. 3 and 9, there is significant difference. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Here we see the 5 and 4, there is significant difference. 5 and 6, significant difference, and everybody has the significant difference with 4. And the 5, you see 5 with 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the significant difference. 6 also has the significant difference. 7 has the significant difference with, and there is no significant difference 7 with 8 and 9. Got it?
Yes, sir.
It is greater than 0.05, or there is no significant difference of 8 with 9.
9.
So it is giving us the clear picture of each group. Better than ANOVA. What do you say?
Yes, sir.
So I use this pairwise t-test instead of Duncan. So I have not used because I have got this one. So I preferred this. But there we have to do some more work because we have not got the mean of 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So we have to separately use the t-apply function, and we could find out the mean for writing in the table. Okay. Mean of the percentage of alcohol in each group of wine, and we could also find out the standard deviation instead of mean. Okay. And then we could prepare the table properly. Got it? Okay. Any doubt? Or we may perform separately the pairwise unpaired t-test, 3 and 4 and 3 and 5 and 3, but it will take very long time. Okay. And the degree of freedom you write manually. I given you the formula n1 plus n2 minus 2.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You could write in the table manually. Okay. So that is the way. It requires some extra work, but it is better than ANOVA, I feel so. Wherever ANOVA is required, I use this pairwise t-test instead of ANOVA. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we see, we have seen the test with numeric data and the numeric and categorical data. Now we see about the categorical data test. So here I will show you there is no significant difference in actual and proposed distribution. So there are three types of chi-square test. So first two we will perform here: the test of independence and the goodness of fit. So this test is about the goodness of fit. Suppose the race is given here. There may be different sort of races in the foreign countries. Here in India, we see the casteism is here. Here is the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward, OBC, we could say, and the gender. So similarly, in the foreign countries, there is a race has very dominant instead of caste. So what the government had decided, suppose this is the proportion distribution of the race should be in any office or the school, whatever. The 10% should be from the race 1, and the 30% should be from the race 2, and 10% again from the race 3, and the 50% from the race 4. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So we want to see in a particular office or school, we went over there and we see their admission chart, and we got that column of the race of the students, and we want to see whether there is this proportion is same or not somewhere. Actual admission is fitted in this proportion, is in this distribution or not. Got it?
Yes, sir.
This distribution is given by the government or the body, governing body, and this is our school or the institute. The person are working, their races are there. So I will just show you something now. First I show you the table of race. So in the first race there are 24%, and the two race there is 11, the third is the 20, 4 is the 145. This is the table, and I just make a proportion plot. Proportion means I see the probability of actual race distribution probability I want to see. So this I am getting the 12%. It is the 5%. It is the 10%, and it is the 72%. Got it?
Yes, sir.
This is our actual distribution, or this is the proposed. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we comparing these two. So here in the chi-square, what we have to do, we don't have to write the prop dot table. We have to write the just table. Table I have shown you this one. Okay. This table D dollar race and the proposed distribution what is given to us is a probability P. Got it? And we compare it. I run it. So this test is called the goodness of fit. How our distribution, actual distribution is fitting in the proposed distribution. How it is fitted over there. Got it? So it is called the goodness of fit. Understand? So we are getting the P value very near to 0, negligible.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes.
what will happen? So there is significant difference in the actual and proposed distribution. Got it? Because our null hypothesis, there is no significant difference. So our null hypothesis has been rejected because the P value is less than 0.05. So there is significant difference in actual and proposed distribution. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So this is the goodness of it. Second, we see the test of independence. Okay, in the chi-square, we perform two sort of tests. So second test is the test of independence, where we take the two categorical variable. One, we are taking the socio-economic status. Second, we are taking the female. Female is the gender, male and female, boys and girls. And there are two categories, 0 and 1. We are making the table for this. First, I show you the table. This is the contingency table I am making for it. So you'll see I am getting this is the socio-economic status 1, 2, 3. 1 is low, 2 is medium, and the 3 is high socio-economic status. And this is the male and this is a female. 1 is female and 0 is male. Got it? So this
Yes,
table
sir.
we are making, or we want to see whether they are dependent or not dependent. each other. The gender and the socioeconomic status is dependent or not dependent. We want to see the girls are from the high SES or the specifically from the medium SES, and the boys are from some particular SES. Got it? Okay. If they are, it means they are dependent if they are from the some particular. If there is no this sort of discrimination we got, so there is no, they are independent. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So there is no significant relation in socioeconomic status and gender we want to see, and we are using the chi-square test here. We just write down the table in this and we just run it and we get this p-value. P-value is 0.10. So there is no significant relation, race and socioeconomic status. There is no significant relation between gender. Sorry, what we have
Gender
done.
and socioeconomic status.
Gender and socioeconomic status.
Socioeconomic status.
Okay, got it?
Yes, sir.
Second, I have taken again, there is no significant relation race and socioeconomic status. Okay, so I have just put the race and the SES. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And I will show you this table first. So this is the table. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4 are the SES, are the race. Sorry, these are the race. And the first would be race on the row side, and the second would be on the column side. The SES is here 1, 2, 3. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we see there are few values which are equal to or less than 5. Got it? In the some cells. Getting?
Yes, sir.
So if the frequency is less than or equal to 5, then we use some yard correction manually if we perform this. But here we perform the Fisher test instead of chi-square. First I perform the chi-square, then we see what happens. Then we apply some other Fisher test. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So here you see when I perform the chi-square test, I am getting some warning here. The chi-square test approximate may be incorrect. Why it is writing this? Because the some cell are getting the value 5 or less than 5. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So it is telling that it may be correct or it may be incorrect. Approximate it may be incorrect. So it is
If all
not.
cells are greater than 5, then we can operate this.
So then we shift to Fisher test instead of chi-square.
Chi-square test.
The thing is same, attributes is same. Just we have to write the Fisher dot test instead of chi-square dot test. Okay.
Yes,
And
sir.
I run it. And you see there the Fisher exact test for count. And the p-value is 0.007. It is less than 0.05. It means there is significant difference. And the both are dependent. It means both are dependent. Got it? There is no significant difference relation in race and socioeconomic. So there is significant relation in race and socioeconomic status because the p-value is less than 0.05. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So significant relation between race and socioeconomic status. It means some race persons are having high standard socioeconomic status, particular race persons. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So it is showing that thing. I have explained there in that PPT, but we don't perform that mostly. Vijayanandji. Okay, I have written there in the PPT. I will show you.
Kata.
We don't perform that.
Laptop.
Chi-square test of homogeneity. Okay. Yes. Vijayanand Menon. There is the test of homogeneity we perform. Whether they are came from the two sample you have taken, and you want to compare they are from the same population or not. Whether they are from the same population or not, then we use this chi-square test of homogeneity. Okay. And we don't perform this mostly. We use mostly the chi-square test in the research paper, these two. So sometimes we forget the name of that test. Okay. Now we see the normality test. Okay. We have a normality test. Shapiro dot test we are using here. We have the Anderson-Darling test also. We have various tests. I have mentioned in the this. I show you so many tests of the normality I have mentioned there. But one or two tests is okay. We could perform them. Normality test I will show you here. I think that it should be somewhere. Mhm. These are the tests for our normality. So we have this much test for the normality, the graphic method, the bake of the envelope test, frequency test, and the Bayesian test. So there are so many. Here we are performing the Anderson-Darling test, and we are performing the Shapiro-Wilk test. Okay. Kolmogorov-Smirnov test is also there, and one we see the graphic method for this. Okay. So first I'm making a normal distribution. So we could see that whether this is from normal or not. I am taking 1000 observation and normal distribution. I will show you the graph of this. So it is normally distributed. This is the graphical method. So it is a normal. We have some more also. You could use the Z for that, the QQ. This you could use it. Only this one. I will show you. So this is the normality test. On the middle, we see how much aligned with the line. This is the normal. On the extreme side, it would be some different, but here we see, judge it. And we could see the skewness also. For this, for skewness, we have to run the site library. And we see the skewness is 0.08. It is between 0.05 minus minus 0.5 and plus 0.5 between this. Then it is normal. So we could judge through this also. And I make another distribution of the XR uni 400 observation I'm taking. It is a uniform distribution. So I just show you the minimum value in the uniform distribution in the default is 0. So I will show you it is very near to 0. And if I see the histogram of it is a uniform distribution. The frequencies are almost same. And in the each class interval, if you see. Now you perform the Shapiro test in X. And then we perform with Z also. So it is Shapiro-Wilk normality test. It is like this. And if we perform for Z, we see what value we get. We are getting 0.18. So you see, if the p-value is greater than 0.05, then it is normal. Note it down. When the p-value is greater than 0.05, then it is normal. It is less than 0.05, then it is not normal. Got it? So this is the normality test we could perform. Okay, it is not working, so I know that. Oh, it is not compulsory. Now we see some non-parametric test. Chi-square we have seen, that is a non-parametric and parametric both. Now we use the Wilcox test. I'm making one data frame, and this data frame I am using the sample 1 to 500 times, and the replacement is true. And I merge these all vectors in this data frame W, X, Y, Z, and then I will show you this data frame. This is my data frame. This is an ordinal Likert type scale, ordinal data Likert type scale. So it is the 1 to 5 we have. Suppose the hypothetically the strongly disagree, not certain, agree, strongly agree. In this way, 1 to 5 we have given it. And if we perform the Wilcox test between two, W and Z, whether their opinion in the with question number W and the question number Z is same or not, their opinion matches or not. So Wilcox test WZ if it performs, we are getting that the p-value is 0.192. It means there is no difference in the opinion of particular two things, and that is the W and Z. Got it? And if we have to perform the Kruskal-Wallis test, Kruskal-Wallis test is just like a ANOVA. If there is a significant difference in the only one, then it will show one group, then it will show there is a significant difference. So there is no other way we have. Otherwise, we perform the Wilcox test with pairwise, you know, and we use the Kruskal-Wallis test. So Kruskal-Wallis test I am performing, the p-value is 0.12. So it is also that the p-value is greater than 0.05. So there is no significant difference in the opinion of the persons. Got it? But in the Kruskal-Wallis test, you remember one thing. We had to use the data frame name. We don't use the variable, just like a W and Z I have used here. And if you have to compare only three variables in a data frame, suppose W, Y, Z, you don't want to include X. So then you have to create a sub data frame from that data frame. Here I have created a sub data frame D1, where I have selected only W, Y, Z. And then I will perform the Kruskal-Wallis test for the D1. If I show you the head of D1, then there are only three variables. Okay, you will see W, Y, Z. And I will just perform this D1 and I will get, oh, there is no significant difference. It also says that. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? Somebody asked me about to create a correlation plot. So this is the core plot we have. Pair plot we also use somewhere. This is the core plot, and we have the pair plot we could make. That is the data visualization I explained already. Okay. So that was there. The correlation test is also there. Correlation test you could perform with the variables. Code test we will use. These are basically code test, and you could perform with the variable whatever you have. The variables in the empty cars you could perform with the mileage and the weight. Empty cars dollar mileage, empty cars dollar weight. We see here the t-value and the correlation coefficient also 0.86 negative, and this is the p-value is less than 0.05. So there is significant relation between the both variables. Kruskal-Wallis is tested just like a ANOVA. As we perform the ANOVA, the same way we perform the Kruskal-Wallis test. Okay. So instead of ANOVA, we could perform it. Got it? So in the non-parametric form. So that is the all about the inferential analysis I have given you. Some idea of the few tests, or if you want more, you could search on the internet and you could see how we could perform the different tests in R. It is the basic I have given to you. There are lots of, but if you perform in this way, you could get lots of things. Yes.
Sir, which is the best site to look out for this kind of tests?
What?
Which
So
is the
what's it?
best website to look out for this sort of tests in R?
Which
You
sort
just
of?
you just mentioned that I should refer websites to get to know about different tests.
You could go to the R publication, R pubs, and you could independently also search. As I search this test, like just a moment. Just I show you, because I have not searched about previously about the Duncan test, and somebody asked me that I think Nishita asked me about the Duncan test. So when I searched about the Duncan test, you see the Duncan's multiple. I will just share my screen so you could see it better. So now it is available. Okay, now it is available. Previously I have not got it, but I didn't have any use, so I could not search again. So if I write the Duncan's multiple range test in R, so I just typed it and I got it and I run it. So I'm getting these details. This you could see in this is a library. You know that this is curly bracket is a library. Okay, name of the library, Agricoloy. Okay.
Okay.
So this library we have to install, and then we could use the Duncan.test. This is the attributes, and that attributes they have told model AOV or LM or answer of the experimental unit wise. And then the TR, the constant only Y is equal to model. So first you understand that video you watch first. What I have shared the link of my video.
Okay.
Why? What does it mean by the Duncan test? So
Okay.
you watch that video, and then you could better understand these attributes, whatever are there. Or if you don't understand, you WhatsApp me, and then we will discuss on it. No, don't worry. Okay. So in this way, you freely search somewhere. Nishita asking me, sir, can you please how to interpret the correlation plot? Okay. So I will show you how to interpret it. There are various sort of plot. So it is as per the heat map. Okay. You see here we have a different colors. So for the one we are using the blue. The dark blue is the high correlation between mileage and mileage, and the high correlation between the negative correlation high side we are getting the red. So this is the high correlation between mileage and weight, but it is negative. Got it? Because we know that the 0.86 is negative. So it is the high correlation, negative correlation. If it is void something, the light side, then there is low correlation. Got it? And the size of this circle also mention that thing. Size and color both. Is it clear to you, Nishita? Yes. Now is it clear? So this is a way we could interpret this graph. Okay. And you could search so many things we could perform on the R. If you just search on the internet, you will get lots of things. There are so many. You see the Duncan test and this. So many we are getting this. So Duncan test, they have Newman-Quiles, and the Duncan test does not control family-wise error rate at the specified alpha level. It has more power than the other post test, but only because it does not control the error rate properly. So they have given the reason also, everything. Okay. So the library agroclay. Okay. And I think that it was just introduced when these were the references in 1997, and they just introduced this library not more time, and I think 1.5 year or the 2 year before they have introduced it. Before that, I have said it was not there. Okay. So whatever the test you want, you could search here. If it is available in the R, you will get it. Okay. So we have covered it, and I see what is our next. I just check it. Mhm. I think we have almost finished. We have data principle and inferential analysis. Okay. So tomorrow I will explain you more about the factor analysis. Okay. Which we have just introduced. I just introduced you. And because I introduced you, because I always take it at the last of the session. If I get the time, then we could explain it better. So tomorrow we will cover the factor analysis in detail. Okay. Okay. Center limit theorem and the standard error. Okay, I will search it today. I have kept the file somewhere else. I will search it today and explain you. Don't worry. Okay. I missed somewhere it. Okay, I will try to search it out and I will explain this also. It's a concept of 15 to 20 minutes only. The both concept will be covered. Okay. In the previous video, somewhere I explained, but I have to search it again. In which video I explained this thing. So there are so many videos and I have to search it out in which video that thing. So I could get the, okay.
Sir, can
Yes.
we perform confirmatory factor analysis using R?
Yes. Yes, we could.
Okay.
Confirmatory. Just type search. It is about the CFA.
Yes, sir.
We have a library, Lavan library we use for it. The syntax options in the Lavan. And I have not done it prior. So there is a package. One is the foreign package, and the one is the Lavan.
Okay, sir.
Two packages we have to use it. If you search on the internet, you will get it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
There are so many things. Now the basic idea you already, I think that you all have the basic idea now.
Yes, sir.
How to search the things, how to find it, how we could apply it. Okay. So that's good if you, because there is it's like a ocean. Okay. So there are so many things. So whatever the things related to your domain you are working with, you have to go in deep in that. there is a lots of knowledge in the internet now. You could get each and everything. Mostly we got most of the thing. 90% thing we could get through the internet. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now it's very easy. At our time when we were studying, we had to purchase the book, we have to go to the library and we have to read the book. Then we find only one page in the whole book, which is worthful for us. Okay. After
Yes, sir.
spending many days, 4 days, 5 days on that book, then we got, oh, this is the only useful thing for me. Now on the internet, you write the specific, you will get the specific one. So that's very easy nowadays. You
Yes,
don't
sir.
have-
In our life, actually we reside. I reside close to Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata branch.
Nice, nice.
Uh,
Mhm.
So when I was research scholar,
Mhm.
I used to actually get copy and Xerox it in the year 2008-9 also. Now in that library also we get soft copy
Yes.
of the journals.
Mhm.
But at that time it was in the year 2008-9 a minimum level of soft copy were available. But now all types of journals and soft copies along with hard copies are available in ISI.
Oh, so now what are you doing in ISI?
No, I have completed my research work. I
Okay.
occasionally visit for collecting data and just
Okay.
procuring
So
some
you have done
articles.
their MSc or the in statistics or something like that? Suraj?
No, sir. Actually, I am from finance background.
Okay, okay,
Actually, I did my PhD from University of Calcutta.
okay, okay, okay. ISI is very, very nice institute. My few fellows are from there, and I want to my son to be there in the for PG in the statistics. He is doing
Wow.
BTech. He is doing BTech. He has completed his first year. Now he is in second year, and I want he is doing the IT and the BTech in the IT. And later on, I want he should do the PG in the statistics. So he could
Nice.
be
Sir, are you
the.
from statistics background, sir?
I am from the statistics background. Basically, I am from mathematics. You know that.
Yes.
But I am by birth. I am a statistician. People says it. The most of the expert from the statistics field, they says that you are the statistician by birth. So the thing is that my subject was the mathematics, but I was very, very fond of statistics. When I was in the 12th standard,
Yes.
I teach the students of PG statistics. I taught
You
at
have
that
done
time.
you have done BSc in mathematics.
MA in mathematics basically, because
MA in mathematics.
I was the UG in management
Yes, sir.
at that time. At that time there was no BBA. There was
Yes,
a
sir.
BA
Yes.
management. BA management.
BA.
BA management. So I have done the
Yes.
BA management. Then I have done the MA in mathematics. And I was fond of the statistics. Why I read so many things in the statistics, and I have worked in so many colleges as a statistician, the professor of statistics. So that's the knowledge I have got it. So there's the thing. So what you get the subject expert, what you get the subject in UG and PG doesn't keep mean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your interest? That is the main thing.
Yes.
So that's why now people says I am a statistician.
So you are only teaching now or doing something else?
I was an IT also. I am a consultant. I have worked with the IT companies also as a data science manager, data scientist, a few years. But I fed up over there because previous my stream was the teaching academic line. I prefer this. because we are more comfortable with the academics. But in the
Yes,
IT
sir.
company, we have a target, we have lots of the pressure, and we don't have the proper subordinates. The HR is not favoring us. There's so many things, the politics running over there. So I just the consultant in few of the companies. I give them the consultancy and this all. So that time there is a frustration also. We could not do new thing. You are involved in one project, you have to think about that and that and that. You could not search new thing. You could not read new thing. So here in the academic field, we daily read something new and we share with the people like you.
Yes,
So
sir, it is.
that's the thing. So now I am consultant in many of the companies I am working with. The few projects, the MRP and the ERP projects, we are applying the machine learning models over there, and we are working with the chatbot also, and some image classifications, image recognition projects also are running still correspondingly.
Are you also working with in Python, sir?
Yeah, Python. We are going to start a session on the Python from after Diwali in the Monday, 7 to 9. It is also free for the participation. It is partial free, basically.
No, sir, it is free for first 3 days.
Partial free. So I am telling that.
Yeah.
First 3 days, because it is the 10 days session, or it is
Oh.
covering the whole basic knowledge of the Python on the Python foundation. It means that you will see the data types of the Python the first day. The second day, you will learn about the operators of the Python. Then you will learn about the NumPy, the essential libraries we apply in the Python. And then we use the pandas also for the data manipulation. Here we use the dplyr in the R,
Deploy.
and there we use the pandas. Okay.
So
So
then what is that SQL?
SQL is a data management, or we can say the data
Database
warehouse,
management.
database management basically. And it is that is also you should know about the SQL. Or we could integrate with the
We
SQL,
also have
Python
to have
also.
parallel knowledge about SQL.
Yes, we take the it's only for 2 or 3 4 days session. You will complete it. There is only make a query and take the data from the SQL, and how to
It is
make
like
the
database.
table in the SQL sheet, and that. So that we could apply in the machine learning. SQL we apply there, and we
Sir,
create that.
is it basically used in case of unstructured data?
SQL?
Yeah.
No. SQL provides the structured data, no? In the
Yes.
table format, the data in the table format provides us.
Okay.
Unstructured data, I mean the images, वगैरह you could save over there in the table form. You could save over there, but we get in a structured form data, no, from there.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So
What we do in deep learning, sir, in R?
Deep learning, you know that in the deep learning we require some high-end framework like the TensorFlow and some other Thino and these all. And there is a high configuration system we should have. There is a requirement of, if you are doing the work with the GPU, then you have a requirement of the in the working with the image or image related models, then there is a requirement of GPU, and the TensorFlow is also required. So now online we could see it on the Cobol and that other platform we could do it. So we are going to launch one deep learning, but it will take little time because we have to create some small steps for that, for the teaching purpose.
Oh.
So it will take little time. So you could perform it easily. So deep learning we use for basically for the big data, the neural network where it comes. So we could perform the linear regression through the neural network also. But if you perform the linear regression with neural network, then you require huge data, no? Big data. But here, if we are performing linear regression, there is no need of a big data. If you have
Yes, sir.
200 observation, 300 observation, you are performing that. That's the main difference in the deep learning and the general machine learning algorithm. So deep learning, because its name is the deep.
Yes, sir.
When you have to get the deep knowledge of any subject, then what you will do? You will read more and more
Yes, sir. Yes.
about that subject. So that's the same thing in the deep learning. You require the more data because it works on the patterns in the data as a neurons. As our neuron works like that, that model works. Deep learning, neural network, we say it. So Shelly is asking, sir, so Python also you would be also working and teaching? Yes, yes. And deep learning.
So you're only teaching to the students like us and or
I take the corporate workshop also. This time it is not running the corporate workshop, basically corporate trainings what we take, and some college university workshop also. There are some event managers, they do work for me, the marketing, and I just go and perform my work over there, whatever the workshop and the training. I don't directly contact with the client for as a marketer. The few persons who are working in this field, few agencies also, so where I am registered, so they get it.
okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you everyone. So meet tomorrow and we cover that few topics like the center limit theorem. I will search today, and one was the standard error and the factor analysis. Okay, so we'll perform it tomorrow,
Okay, sir.
and thanks everyone.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.